Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to unravel a story many of us learned in school. A story that's often wrapped in a neat little bow of adventure and discovery. I'm talking about Christopher Columbus. The classic tale goes that in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue and discovered America. But what if I told you that version of the story is missing some pretty huge and frankly, dark chapters? Let's dive in. First things first, the idea that Columbus discovered the Americas is just not accurate. When he and his crew landed in the Bahamas on October 12, 1492, the land was already home. Not to just a few people, but to millions of indigenous people with rich, complex societies that had existed for thousands of years. So, what Columbus's voyage actually did was initiate the first sustained contact between Europe and the Americas. It was a monumental moment in history, for sure, but it wasn't a discovery. It was an arrival, and it kicked off a period of intense change known as the Columbian Exchange, and ultimately, colonization. Now, let's talk about the man himself. We often picture him as this heroic, visionary explorer. The reality is far more complicated and much grimmer. After his initial voyage, Columbus was appointed governor of the newly established colonies. But his leadership was far from heroic. Historical accounts and even reports from his own contemporaries describe him and his brothers as tyrannical rulers. They implemented systems of forced labor, demanding that the native Taino people provide them with gold and cotton. The punishments for failing to meet these impossible quotas were brutal. His governance was so cruel and chaotic that complaints eventually reached the Spanish monarchs, Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand. In the year 1500, the Spanish crown sent an official to investigate the situation. What he found was so alarming that he had Columbus arrested, put in chains, and shipped back to Spain to face charges of Think about that for a moment. The celebrated explorer was sent home as a prisoner because of his own cruelty and incompetence as a leader. Although he was eventually pardoned by the king and queen and allowed to set sail on a fourth and final voyage, his reputation never fully recovered. This last trip was also a disaster. He explored parts of the Central American coast, but ended up shipwrecked in Jamaica for over a year, before being rescued and returning to Spain for good. Here's another fascinating detail. Columbus died in 1506. Still firmly believing he had found a new, faster route to the East Indies, what we now call Asia. He went to his grave completely unaware that he had stumbled upon two continents that were entirely new to Europeans. He never understood the true geographical significance of his own voyage. But the most critical part of this revised history is understanding the devastating impact of his arrival on the indigenous peoples of the Americas. The beginning of European contact unleashed a tidal wave of destruction. Diseases like smallpox, to which the native populations had no immunity, wiped out entire communities, in some cases killing up to 90% of the population. On top of the disease, there was warfare, enslavement, and the systematic destruction of cultures. The world Columbus opened up for Europe came at an almost unimaginable cost for the people who were already here. So, why does getting this story right matter so much? Because history isn't just a collection of dates and famous names. It shapes our understanding of the world today. Rethinking the story of Columbus isn't about erasing history. It's about making it more complete and more honest. It's about acknowledging the full, complex picture, the good, the bad, and the devastating, so we can learn from it. Thanks for watching and taking the time to explore this important topic with me. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into history. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.